Potter, welcome to Hutt News. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Tiffany. In today's stories, a new crime wave is sweeping through the country. In the form of woolen graffiti, scientists have invented an invisibility cloak. We help them find it. And the latest in the weather around the country.
But first, a story that will turn your world upside down. If you think the world is getting more and more topsy-turvy, it turns out you're right. Builders in Germany have an upside-down house, and before you think they may have read the plans upside down, they did it on purpose. The wacky home was built as a tourist attraction, as well as being a comment on the state of the world. This house has 23 feet tall and rests on its roof and has steel beams in the attic. Inside the house there are beds screwed to the ceiling, upside-down wardrobes, an upside-down kitchen, and even an upside-down bathroom. Although it's not known if anybody has tried to have a bath in it or go to the toilet. Many visitors visiting the house complain of feeling sick and dizzy after just a few minutes inside. We now cross over to our reporter Jack, who is inside the house. How are you feeling, Jack?
I'm here with the owner of the house, Isaiah, and I'm feeling quite dizzy. So what made you decide to build this house upside down?
Well, when I lived in New Zealand, back in Wellington, the house that I lived in was in the other way compared to Germany. So I thought to make me feel at home, I'd flip the house over and, well, yeah.
And what comment do you feel the house makes about the state of the world now?
Well, surprisingly, the house has brought me a lot of money, so I'll call it a wealthy investment.
Okay, and what are some of the challenges living in a house where everything's upside down?
Well, the first challenge is getting into the house. And that'll probably be all the challenges, it's just getting in the house.
And it says that some people get dizzy and queasy just after a few minutes in the house. What do you have to say about this?
Well, I guess the Germans aren't as strong as us Kiwis, so yeah, they probably just need to handle it.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jack for Hutt News. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Jack. Even watching that makes me feel sick. Now to finance news and a quick look at the markets. It's over to our financial team, Stephanie and Eilish. How's the day's trading looking?
Thank you, Tiffany. Let's have a look at what's cool and what's not in the NZ's So Hot Right Now index.
Going up are bananas from Pak'nSave, which are trading at $2. This is much better than yesterday when they were worth only about 35 cents.
Going down today is the Warehouse, which used to be really cool but isn't anymore because they now sponsor the Australian rugby team.
Another thing going up is side ponytails, which used to be great, then wasn't for a while, then suddenly was again because Justin Bieber was seen at the Oscars wearing a side ponytail. Now everybody wants one.
Well, that's all from us. Stay safe, New Zealand. Back to the news desk with Tiffany and Ashley.
Thanks, guys. And now for the news story that truly is out of sight. Look out, Harry Potter. The world of science is catching up to the world of magic. Scientists in Europe have created a 3D invisibility cloak which can hide objects by bending light waves. It has been found that light can be controlled using special tiny crystals that make objects disappear. So far, scientists have made small objects such as coins disappear, but hope that it won't be long before they are hiding cars, planes, and even people. People have always dreamt of making themselves invisible. One top scientist says the possibilities are endless and we are very excited. However, since inventing the invisibility cloak, the scientists have been having trouble finding it. As soon as we put it down somewhere, it just disappears. The inventor of the cloak said it appears they are having trouble finding other things too, like their lunch, which they think may be underneath the cloak. But what will this invention actually be used for? Hoping to see through the reasons behind the invisibility cloak. Here is our on-the-spot reporter Stephanie with more on the story.
I'm Stephanie, and with me is Caitlin, one of the scientists behind the invisibility cloak. Hi Caitlin, and thanks for joining us. What made you want to invent the cloak?
Well, I always wondered what it would be like to be invisible, so I decided to make the cloak. It took 3 long years of hard work, but it eventually paid off, and the cloak is all I wanted it to be.
Could you show me how it works? Whoa, that's so cool! What do you hope the cloak will be used for?
I think I might use it to hide my inventions. That way no one will be able to find out what I've been making.
Cool. And do you think you'll sell it to the community?
I'm not sure. I might. It'd probably give me a lot of profit, but then it could cause a few problems. You never know who could pop up behind you.
Well, that makes it clear. Thank you for joining us. Back to you on the desk.
Thanks, Stephanie. And now, how's this for an interesting yarn? A new wave of graffiti crime is covering the country, thanks to an underground gang known as the Midnight Knitters. These wool-waving criminals are covering tree branches, lampposts with small jerseys and scarves under the cover of darkness. People say the knitted activities of the gang are illegal because their woolly crimes are being done on public property without permission. The popularity of woolen graffiti is growing, and police warn that if the Midnight Knitters aren't caught soon, every tree, lamppost and traffic light in the country will soon be warmly dressed against the cold. The problem is spinning out of control, a police spokesman said today. They're a close-knit group of dyed-in-the-wool criminals. We are stitching together a case, but it's not seamless. There is no real pattern to the crimes. So far, the criminal knitters have escaped arrest and continue to pull the wool over the eyes of both the public and the police. We go now to a secret location with our investigative reporter Natalia, who has an exclusive interview with one of the Midnight Knitters gang.
Thanks guys. I'm Natalia, and joining me in this top secret location is a member of the Midnight Knitters gang. Hello Georgia, and thanks for joining us. What led you into this dark underworld of knitted graffiti?
Well, I've always liked to knit, and I think we should start preventing things from happening.
Do you see yourself as a criminal?
No,
Why not?
because although it's in the public, I really don't see how it's illegal.
Apart from trees, lampposts and traffic lights, what else would you like to graffiti with your woolen?
I think cars and fences would probably be really good for our list.
Do you think you're affecting the public?
No.
Thanks for your time, Georgia, of the Midnight Knitters gang. Back to you at the news desk.
Thanks, Natalia. I'll make sure to hit the streets at night if I find myself feeling a bit chilly. Speaking of which, let's look at the weather ahead for the nation with Shania. How's it looking, Shania?
Thank you, Ashley. Let's have a look at tomorrow's weather. Starting in the far north in Kaitaia. Look out for some pretty flash flooding and raindrops as big as your head. If you're going outside, wear a hat in Auckland. There will be a mix of fair conditions and unfair conditions, but those are the conditions, and you'll just have to accept them. There will be no weather at all in the Bay of Plenty. It's taking a short holiday, but it's expected to be back for the weekend. In Napier and Hastings, the weather will sometimes be changeable, and sometimes not. We have really no idea what will happen there. In Taranaki, a mild depression brings with a very dull day, with no highlights at all. It'll be an overcast and gloomy all morning, but things should cheer up by the evening, so don't worry. Everything will be fine. Wellington will have another capital day. There will be no wind, and all the conditions will be so pleasant they'll actually be extreme. In the top of the South Island, Kaikoura can always expect sunny, calm and beautiful conditions, except for tomorrow, when the weather will be the worst you've ever seen. A real mix for Christchurch, which will have some unreasonable rainfall, some sensible wind, moderate thunderstorms, and some very angry snow. and in the lower south of Dunedin will be frosty, cold and unfriendly until late morning when the sun will pop over for a visit. Everybody likes the sun. Well, that's all from me, but I'll see you all tomorrow. Back to you, Ashley and Tiffany.
Thanks, Jack. Looking like a killer day in the capital for tomorrow's World Cup matches.
Now, with a couple of minutes left in the show, it can only mean one thing. It's 2 minutes with Dylan.
We are having 2 minutes with Robert. Hello, Robert. Thank you for joining us. I'm speaking to Robert today because he drove through a dairy. How do you feel about this, Robert?
My feelings on this was scary because my foot slipped off the brake.
What day was this horrible crash? And did you have any injuries?
It happened on the 19th. I had a couple of injuries, bruises and scratches.
Do you have to pay any money towards the dairy?
I am hoping my insurance will cover this.
Was anyone hurt and anyone in the dairy at the time?
Well, besides myself, there was a dairy owner in there at the time, but he wasn't hurt.
Well, Robert, thank you very much for joining us. This has been 2 minutes with me and Robert. Back to the news desk with Ashley and Tiffany.
Well, that's all we have time for. We hope you've enjoyed today's broadcast.
Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Until then,
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Tiffany for Hutt News. Goodbye. E no hora.